From the deep dark reaches of Star Trek Online comes Nikodas, Tabbytha, and Grebog with another episode of Fleet Action Report.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Fleet Action Report, the show where we don't just play the game, but we teach you how to play the game.
That was Nikodas. I am Tabbytha, and here is Grebog.
All right, computer, run program Fleet Action Report, episode 243, Keybind Magic. If you'd like to support us, being here is support enough. Or you can do a subscribe here on Twitch, or if you don't want to give Twitch money, but you still want to support us financially, we have a coffee link at ko-fi.com/GREBOG. You can buy us a cup of coffee. But like I said, just being here, support enough. And you can tell by the title, we're gonna delve into something very complicated tonight. So, but before we get into
hurts.
before we get into that, Nikodas, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
Oh, I get to go first?
Sure.
Yeah, honestly, I had no idea what to do with my week this week. I'm between terms at school, so I've had no homework, no studying, nothing that I needed to do. So I actually have done a fair bit of gaming, but instead of running the newer games that I've got, I kind of backpedaled and I've been playing Final Fantasy VIII. I don't know why, just a craving hit me to go old school. So I did. So yeah, I've been knocking that around and doing the thing where you have to drain magic from all your enemies, and yeah, it's been a process. But it's been fun. So but I go back to school on Monday, so that's probably going to be put on hold for a while. We'll see. Outside of that, I've primarily been role playing with friends. We had some adventures in Pathfinder, which was interesting. I am enjoying my kineticist. The attacks that he can do at range kind of gives me a lot of versatility. And I'm starting to get more used to that system. So it was fun. It was interesting. And then, of course, I've been casually working on my army of alts on STO. One of them did hit level 50 yesterday. Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. So I was able to unlock, things like endeavors and reputations, and so that opened up a whole new world of things that I need to work on for that character. And then Katis here got a bundle of new ships. Aha, see what I did there.
Oh.
And I've slowly been putting builds on them to kind of try them out and see how much I like them. I've only done 2 so far. I've done the Pioneer, which is what you see me flying around in right now. And I've done the Shangri-La. On the Shangri-La, I did a beam overload build, and then on this one, I'm actually doing a reroute reserves build, which I have not done for a while, so this should be fun. And that's it for me. I will hand the torch to Grebog.
Let's see. My week, my WoW raid team, we have gotten all the way through normal except for the final boss, Gallywix. I've been having a lot of fun with this raid in WoW. It is so off the wall, different and bizarre because, well, goblins. It's made it a lot of fun because not that all the other raids before were the same. It's just it added a bit of levity that I think I needed at the time to the raiding scene. Yeah. And I asked for a conveyor boss, and they obliged. They heard my request and doubled down on it, which I like. Though there's no stampers, there are other things on the conveyor boss. Beams of death and so on and so forth. But yeah. So that's WoW. I've been playing a fair amount of STO. Though some of it's working on keybinds and aliasing, some of it's getting documentation ready to go for keybinds and aliasing, because I wanted to make sure I had everything ready for tonight and I could share, so that way hopefully this all is clear as mud. We can't let Harry Mudd, but let's see. Outside of I've been playing STO and WoW. That's my big things. Yeah, we did do a Pathfinder 2 game on Sunday. That was fun. I don't know that they know what I'm planning next, but who knows? I've hinted at things. But yeah. All right, Tabby, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
Well, this week is my midterms, so I've been really busy doing the Englishes and the math. Well, actually no maths, but the photographies and the web arts and all sorts of other stuff. And aside from STO, I've been playing tons and tons of Valheim, because I'm having a blast in this game. I am currently breeding wolves.
And when she says currently, she means right now.
No, I've got Valheim running in the background because the player has to be you have to be logged in and present for wolves to breed, which is a little those little exhibitionist wolves there. No, it's kind of a computer resource thing. Like if you're not logged in and present, the game unloads those assets and they don't progress.
Yeah.
But the non technical way is a lot more fun. But so yeah, and mine I've got like a little island base, like every supervillain should, and I'm gonna fill it with wolves, like any good supervillain should.
Okay.
All the wolves.
Are you the villain of this show, Tabby?
No. I'm just your run of the mill, perfectly reasonable Viking who just wants to take over the world. I mean, nothing villainous about that.
Fair. All right, are we ready to talk about this week of STO?
Sure.
Okay, so the galaxy went to red alert. Started. Wait a minute. It says the 18th.
No, it goes to the 18th.
Oh, okay. So it started what, Monday,
Tuesday,
and it runs until the 18th. You have to get 5 progress, 5 days of progress to get the reward, which is an ultimate tech upgrade and a specialization point. I don't know why I couldn't read that. Now that I'm looking at it, it says very clearly now until March 18th. For some reason, my head wouldn't process that. I don't know. Apparently, I'm just sleep deprived tonight, so somebody else can do the next one.
Okay, well, as many of you already know, the 15th anniversary bundle has been sent out. It also went live on Tuesday. It is on sale, 25% off now until April 1st. Its regular price is 17,500 Zen. However, with the sale price, it is at 13,125. You can buy the ships individually, mostly. We'll get back to that. The ships will be 3,000 a pop. But during this, they are on sale for 2,400. And this contains the Pioneer 2 Pilot Heavy Frigate, the Ark Royal Intel Carrier, the Kerala Temporal Battle Cruiser, and the Shangri-La Command Warship, Those are the 4 new ships, and those are the 4 that you can buy individually. They also tossed in the Theseus Miracle Worker Destroyer, which was a premium lockbox ship. So that is not individually sold. But this also comes with the Exeter Cruiser Refit 2. That way you get the Exeter Cruiser Refit 2 skins for your ships. I believe the Shangri-La, right? And then the Federation Type 2 Phaser Pistol, circa 2285, as seen, I believe, by Captain Kirk in a movie.
The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Star Trek 2.
Which one?
And then
Which one was in Wrath of Khan?
The phaser, the hand phaser that they released.
Yeah, and then the Starfleet Armored Security Guard uniforms of circa 2271. Those are all account-wide unlocks if you buy the bundle. Now, the one-time claimables are the 15 Ultimate Tech upgrades, 15 Master Keys, and 5 ship tokens. That is ship upgrade tokens. So you can T6X to one of the ships and get good upgrades on the others. You also get 100 low buy and then 5 ship slots. And for those that don't know, wondering where those items like the Federation Type 2 Phaser Pistol went, go to your items, go to the promotions unlock, and it is right there. Just in case, like this is apparently the new place that these things are filtering down to, is that promotion unlock items. When
the only one that I have showing up is, well, the title and the hand phaser.
Correct. The uniform might be in its let's see, that's the Wrath of Khan.
I mean, it might have just unlocked that automatically.
Yeah, I was like, that might have just unlocked. I have not gone to the outfit, the tailor person.
So here's my question though. Didn't the blog say that those were supposed to be one and done items?
What? The pistol?
Yeah. And
this
uniform.
Is what I pulled from the blog. Everything was listed as account wide until it got to the one-time claimables, which was the tech upgrades, the master keys, ship tokens, lobby, and ship slots. So I'm assuming these are all account unlock.
I wonder how you get the uniform on all your other characters then. That's interesting.
Maybe it's one of the few uniform pieces that's account wide. Because there are other things that they have given us that's been account wide.
I'm gonna go take a look real quick while you go over other stuff.
There have been a few bugs that they have been pushing out patches for the past 2 days to try to fix. I didn't put in all the bugs because of and the things that they've been fixing, but some of it has been skins. Some of it was the text of the, the ship registry number. Apparently on one of the ships, the registry number was technically floating just a hair bit above the saucer or something to that effect.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so they appreciate the feedback. If you find stuff like that, the forums is a great place to put screenshots to show what you found and to let them know. And they will as promptly as they can, get it resolved. So yeah. And for those on console, you're starting your anniversary event. Good luck on getting the ship. It's a good ship. I encourage everyone on console to go get your ship. Yeah. All right. I guess that brings us to our primary target.
Primary target.
It does indeed.
All right. So tonight's topic is keybinds. And for those that have no clue what that means, technically in-game, you can do key binding, and you'll notice that once you go into options, there is a keybind tab. and you can see all of the keybinds that are preset by the game. And you can even switch whether ground and space up here at the top, depending upon what you want to look at. It will default to whichever you are currently. So since I'm in space, it defaulted to space. If I were to go on to ESD, it would default to ESD, like ground. And apparently someone has found me and has sent their hanger pets to say hi. But so that is one way. I encourage anyone that's going to delve into keybinds to look at this list on ground and in space to see what is the default, because this will give you a clue on what maybe to not use, maybe to use something different. Because there are certain things like, so when you're on ground, Z typically flips your weapon from your primary to your secondary and back. I had a problem with ground where I was using that for something else, and I'm gonna guess something bugged out, because now I'm looking who found me. I don't see anyone super close, but anyway, it bugged out, and my keybind basically unloaded. My keybind file unloaded, and everything else, and so that is why I will not be using the Z key on ground for any special features. Yeah. Now, writing keybind files. The basic is that they are text files. They are found inside your Windows. Well, they're, if you're using Windows, which I think most people do. See, I put up at the top of my
There
it's typically
aren't really any other operating systems that STO runs on.
it used to run on Mac, but
Not for a while.
I do know some people use
Wine.
yeah, Linux and have setups that way. But so if you installed STO in the default location, it would be C:/program files x86 Star Trek Online / Star Trek Online / live / local data. Well, yeah, that's for see, that's the alias file. The keybinds themselves just go into the /live folder. And now you're probably wondering how we've talked about a program before, and I'm going to talk about it again because it is a good program. It's worth noting. Let me get, please use this link. There is somebody else out there that is using a very similar, I think they took the Keybind program, and I don't know what they did to it. It's questionable. Someone talked about they had a virus as soon as I used it, and they sent me the link that they got the Keybind program from. And I'm like, that's not the location it's kept at.
Whoop.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he got the link. Anyway. But once you download the program, it will look something like, I think it should be, yep, there it is.
Probably main screen your window.
I main screen my entire desktop window.
No,
So,
oh wait, no, it's my my stream that's messing up.
Probably because
oh,
somebody's breeding too many wolves in the background.
I'm
I
also
don't know what
dropping
you're
a
talking about.
bunch of frames or bits right now. I my internet is being weird again. Let me make sure. Don't need you running. Make sure nothing else is running in the background that could be installing, downloading, and
What, like wolf breeding?
well, for me.
Well, I know I'm being silly.
I'm showing that I'm sending out that, but I'm not seeing it yet on stream. This is fun. Sorry for the issues.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. Like my bit rate's dropping, like bouncing between. Oh, you're at 8,000. Now you're at 24,000. Now you're at 300. Now in 61,000. Now it finally kicked over on stream. Talk about a delay. And it might have my internet may have stabilized. Hopefully it stabilized. All right. Now I'm curious on. If I wiggle this around, I can see how long okay, the delay is back. You might have to refresh to get to where I'm at. So you can open up files. You can save files with this. You can even see info, and it will pop up a little like how keybinds work and guides and stuff. I encourage you that they're great sources of information. But yeah. The simplest way is to use this program to do a keybind. It is a very easy thing to do. You just add a key, and once you set the key, you can choose any in the list. It even has Xbox controller stuff if you have an Xbox controller. You can also set mouse buttons, and it even has extra mouse buttons for the fact that like some people have like the fancy dancy mice that have many buttons.
Fancy
and you can
dancy mice.
Fancy dancy mice. But here I'm going to give an example of what a spam bar might look like. Which means we want to go to the space bar, which is alphabetical. So there it is. So there we have the space bar. We want to add an action. And then this here, you can see all the various stuff and things that you can do. Yeah. Like you can target specific weapons, target bioneural warhead. You can target you do say in team local chat or team chat, local chat, you can reset the camera. You can, I believe, set the camera to follow, to go into chase mode, or there's all kinds of. You can adjust gamma. You can adjust a bunch of the game settings inside with keybinds. Heck, you can even add in a unbind all keybind because, you might want to. But a keybind that unbinds all. You can even have a bind file load in here. So let's say you wanted to have you work on keybinds and you want to reload your keybind file once in a while. Like you made a change in the keybind and you just want to reload it so that way it has the current bind that you just added in or tweaked, and you can actually have that in. But if we want to do, say, a spam bar, we would want to distribute shields, and then we want to then have, I believe, execute full tray, and then we want to pick a tray, and you can pick any of the different trays. Now, do note on ground, the tray number doesn't go to 10. So you'll have to make sure that you do note which trays you're going to want to use for space and ground, because you don't have 10 trays for ground. But that puts the entire thing into one whole tray, and you can technically add in a second. However, there is a limit. I would not. Well, I don't think it'll let you even do 3 trays. I think it'll technically tell you no. I mean, one way to find out. Oh no, it says it will do it, but I'm pretty sure this doesn't work. There is a limit to what how many commands essentially you can put into a keybind file. Yeah. And this program is great for helping you set that up. I would recommend always saving your file once you are done. Name it whatever you want. It will default once you have set it up to go to your program files, Star Trek Online in live to the live folder for you. And as you can tell, there are various keybind things in here. I even have someone else's keybind file in here. If you are to look, because if you notice it saves it as a .kbf file. If you were to ever look at the file, it is a hex file. It is not going to tell you anything useful. It is mainly there for the program to be able to understand and read it and whatnot. But when you go to create, you hit this create bind file up at the top middle. It will then turn that into a text file, and then it creates a nice quick copy paste line for you. You can hit the copy to clipboard and it will, or you can come into this text box and just Control A, Control C. But it just clicking the copy to clipboard will help you. And it tells you the text file. So here, let me pull up, and this is what that simple keybind file looks like that I created just now. I know it looks like a bunch of weird commands. Tray execute by tray 9. And you're going to probably look, oh, I'm looking at this and it says 8 and 9. It doesn't say 9 and 10. You said 10 in the program. That is because the program, well, STO counts in programmer language, I guess would be a great way to put it. 0 is 1, 1 is 2, and 2 is 3. So even though it says 1 down here, this is tray 0, tray 1, tray 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 9. It counts from 0 to 9. And that's the same also for the buttons across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 9. Technically, it's a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Something worth noting when working with keybind files. That's the basics. Any questions so far?
Not yet.
Let me pull up notes. I want to make sure I'm not completely off the rails here. So you can also do this via text editors. Now,
If you're brave.
If you're brave. Now you'll see that this is a very simple, very basic. There is no fluff in this file. I'm going to take you to my ground file, and you're going to see some fluff. And what I mean by fluff is I added in comments because I wanted people to understand some things. Like I put in the bind command, like how you can load the file. I also put in, some a thank you to Wolf Gray who has helped me bounce ideas off and whatnot. Now you'll notice here. So the big part is syntax. With any kind, think of it like whether you're doing programming or you're doing these text files, syntax is key. Now, if you're doing a very simple like here I have FA equal or go set to GFX underscore set 1. Technically, I don't know that I need the quotes around it being one command. Or like the F11 and F10. They have that on there, but there also is in here. As you can see here, these have 2 commands. That is what the $$ does, is break up the commands. Let me pull up the whiteboard. I created this little, created this little graphic just for y'all because it is about explaining how the keybinds are, the anatomy of a keybind. So you have the key, which here's the example of an E, and then you have throttle adjust 0.1. Technically, you don't need the quotes at the start or the end. However, there are certain commands that do require it. So I've just taken it upon myself to put the quotes at the end, the front and the end of the command, just to be safe. Then it doesn't matter if the command requires it or not. It will always work with the quotes there. It's just safer to put the quotes in. And then also, if you have anyone that's going to help you trying to decipher this would help them also know when, the start and end of it is. Essentially, and this is so throttle adjust. Many of you use the Q and E to adjust throttle in game. It is based off of 100%. And 1 being 100%, so 0.1 means I'm changing the increment to 0.1 or 10%. And as you can see with the B here, there is a tray exec by tray 4 0, which means in tray 5 slot 1. Hey, baby Spock. so tray 5 slot 1. I'm executing whatever is in that tray, and then I'm the $ says, okay, that command's over, and then I'm doing another tray exec, which is tray 5 slot 2. I know this seems it getting your head around the fact that everything counts one less. It can get a little, yeah.
Well, I mean, anybody who's familiar with computers, that's not going to be so tall of an order.
Yeah. And we'll get to the alias stuff next. But here you can see I have like a combat log. It turns on the combat log. It is a 2 command thing, has the $. Then I have it tell myself that the combat log is started or stopped, depending upon which way I went. And then also you notice down here, I have a loot roll need. This is my ground spam button, so to speak. When I'm on ground, everything I put into tray 4 all the way across, I put things that I want to trigger. So certain kit modules that I want to trigger based off the key press, I put there. Things that I want to do myself in a different way, I put in other spots. I just went with a simple, it's sort of a spam bar, but I'm not spamming it, so to speak. Because ground is not as spammy as space. But I just went with that method. Let's see. That is the basics. We'll go to my space one's a bit more complicated. Again, here at the top, you can see that I have a throttle adjust. I both increment and decrement by 10%. That's all that is. Now, alias is where things get interesting. Now you notice I have in here R cycle 0. And then also down here I have SFX 0. Those are aliases. Those act like commands. And it goes into a whole separate folder or file. This has a different syntax than what you would have for the text files. They're both text files, but they just have different syntax. Here, obviously you can see that the / here is to show that it's in comments, and I tried to make a nice little comment section up here. So I want to break this apart to make it a little. So an alias is a very simply a you can set like a keybind, but here, let me pull up the whiteboard again because I had another graph. Oh, in this graphic you can see an alias is first you have to put the alias to define that it is an alias. Then you have a variable. variable is whatever you set it, whatever you want to call it. And then you have the brackets with the question mark on each end. So you got less than, greater than with the question marks to house your command. Again, you don't technically need those for single command things. However, again, there are certain things that if you don't encapsulate them like that, they don't work. And so I've just taken to, I apparently screwed up on my one. I put an ampersand in there. Well, see, that would have been bad if I would have been actually doing that. So there's an error. I'll fix that before I put it out. But here you can see, like, just like the various other like the keybinds, you can do throttle adjust 1, which would put you at 100% throttle. And then you could then tell it, let's do a stats preset load preset 1 and essentially full throttle. And then you load the preset 1, which is the attack one, I believe, because I'm pretty sure they just went 1, 2, 3, 4 on those. And yes, you can save those to different, what those mean differently. So whenever you can actually have a throttle adjust, if you want to, like, when you're going full throttle forward, you can put more shields or more, however you want to run it. There are people that do stuff and things like that. And you can even, inside of an alias, call another alias, which is worth noting. For when we get to the sequence. Well, it becomes important now. So let's say you want to press a button and it does something, but you press that button again, it does something different. You press that button again and it does something different again. Technically, yeah, it is like technically the string of things that you could have a one button do with aliasing is based on how long you want to sit there and put it all together. People used to, when the nav2 position command used to work, it no longer works. I tested. People used to use Tour the Galaxy by a single key press. And you just have to press it once and it would take you to Vulcan. Press it again and it'd take you to the next spot. Press it again and it'd take you to the next spot. And you just kept changing locations and it would just automatically navigate you around the Tour of the Galaxy path. So for obvious reasons, they disabled the nav2 position command because, yeah, that was a little well, I was like, that was a little
no, yeah, I agree.
I don't know, I would say exploity, but it's a bit cheaty. So here we're going to go through my keybind for my subspace fracture tunnel. Well, an alias setup. So here I just defined, and I did it this way because I'm going to share out my files and everything to everybody, because take them, use them, do what you want with them, adjust them to how you play. That's fine. But here I set subspace, because it's subspace fracture tunnel, to tray execute by tray 19, which is technically 20. Tray 2, the far right slot, and you can see on my bar in game. Let me show my game quick. You can see in my game, my subspace fracture tunnel is right there. Right, bar 2, tray 2, all the way at the end. All right. And then, so that's just to set the location. And then in the next sequence, I have a keybind, which we go back to the keybind real quick. We saw there was right here. I have to the single quote, which is shared on the tilde key, right next to 1 is signed to activate sub 0. Because Sub-Zero is, cool.
Sub-Zero.
Get over here. So essentially this alias is to set up so that way you do not teleport anywhere. So the first time I activate that tilde key, it clears the target. And then it sets Sub-Zero, this first line, to equal the alias of Sub-1. Sub-1 here says, oh, I want to run the alias Subspace, which is up here, tray 1, the tray slot 19. And then it goes, now Sub-Zero should be Sub-2. Then it goes to Sub-2 and says, hey, I want you to target the nearest enemy. And then it sets Sub-Zero to Sub-3, which then starts the cycle back over again, which is target clear, and then set Sub-Zero to Sub-1. The reason you need Sub-3 is because you are setting Sub-Zero, setting that variable every time. You lose that target clear alias Sub-Zero Sub-1 line completely if you did not have another method to set Sub-Zero to it. And this is essentially what it does. And every time you press the button, you start with, the first time you hit it, it does technically every time it does Sub-Zero. But here you're telling it after the first press to do Sub-1, and then that's when it does, essentially it clears the target, activates the subspace fracture tunnel. So then you don't teleport anywhere because you are not targeting anything. And then it targets the nearest enemy again on the next key press because you want to start fighting again. Now, if you haven't, there are 2 settings that you need to get this to fully working. And that comes down to control. And I put into the notes, you'll notice that you need to set 2 in-game options, which is up here in the notes. On the controls tab, you need to go to only attack if target selected to turn off. And this means you don't have to target your enemies. You're going to still be shooting whatever's around you. It will probably shoot the closest thing at you. It won't target and focus on a specific enemy. You'll need to target somebody manually to get that. And then there's the select auto target on attack off. So if someone were attacking you, if you don't put the select auto target on attack, you would automatically, whenever someone hit you, you would automatically target them. You don't want any auto targeting to happen, which is why you turn those both off, but it keeps you still able to fight. And then when you use the subspace fracture tunnel, you teleport nowhere. So, yeah. Now another example, I have in here the special effects in my alias setup. I did do a sequence only because I already had sequencing set up, but 2, in the event that loading maps or something and it reset and you have to hit it again, I didn't want a once and done setup, so that way I could disable the special effects as many times as I could try. Yeah. But there's all kinds of stuff you can do with the aliasing and keybinds. Anyone have questions?
What exactly do you mean by aliasing?
You're setting a variable to a command.
Yeah, pretty much. From what I understand, by aliasing, whenever you press the command, aliasing swaps in the command for another one.
So it's essentially a variable. Like I have up here, if you want to go into coder speak, subspace equals tray execute by tray 19. That command, the tray execute by tray 19, is now can be called by just calling the command subspace. I basically am making my own personal command subspace.
Okay.
And then you can call that from other locations. Like you can call it in here. Like that's what, like, I have the well, here's the R cycle 0, 1. That is an alias, not a command. The SFX0 is an alias that I'm calling. And here's my sub-0.
Finish him.
Nice.
Some of this got a little complicated, and it's just because of my I wanted to make sure I was clear with the program, I guess would be a great way to put it. Like, and you can have massively long strings of commands. I guess here's something else people don't know, and you'll learn if you dig into keybinds and commands and alias stuff. There are some commands that activate instantly, and you can string bunches of these commands together to activate all of them instantly together. There are certain things that can only activate one at a time, and that comes down to like consoles are something you can only hit one at a time. Bridge officer powers can only be hit one at a time, which is why when you use keybinds to do like a spam bar, every time you hit the spam bar, it only activates one of the things. Yeah. And then it goes to the next one. And apparently someplace it borked all my trays. That's not my tray setup. Wonderful. I'll have to rebuild it all. Because apparently loading it didn't work either. No, loading it just went back to where it was. That's not helpful. Anyway. But like a great example here is this SFX set 1. There are so many commands to disable special effects, and a lot of this you can get like if you, so there is a someone put together a spreadsheet. It hasn't been updated in a while, so I don't know what's missing off of it, but if it has most of a lot of the special effects and some that people dislike and whatnot. So if you are tired of seeing like here ship tactical attack pattern alpha show up in your graphics, you can disable that. And there's all kinds of stuff. There's so many commands. It went into 3 sets for the fact that otherwise it would eventually the game would be like, I don't know what the heck you're trying to do to me. I'm done, and closes.
Apparently, you don't want to watch. Apparently, you don't want to see any of the game.
Yeah, you want to disable. Here we go. All effects have been disabled. I'm done. I don't know what that limit is, but I do know that basically you can do 2 trays, which is 20. So I would say if you're going to build up a string of commands, I would probably cut it at 20-ish into separate commands, and then you could end up doing like a keybind sequence to be able to, or an alias sequence to be able to run through it all. Yeah. I know some of this It's so complicated at times. I'm like, I don't know if I'm explaining it good or bad or.
It's just a lot. Baby Spock shuts down computer.
Well, I mean, you know, when you tell the game to stop all the effects, it just I'm done and shuts off. Here's a graphic I put together for like the alias keybind sequence setup. So like if you had an F8 for sequence 0 in your keybind file, and then you have
How do you multiply the visual effects?
I think you contact Deca and request more. I'm sure they're more than willing to put in more effects. But
More,
yeah.
must have more.
Here, I have somewhere. Did I close that tab already? I must have. Okay. Let me go to my paste bin. So I for anyone that wants, I have created all of my keybinds into files on Pastebin. There is the ground. That's space. And that is the alias file. Again, I did put in where you put the files just in case you have questions, because the command aliases.
Answers.
The alias file has to be called command aliases.txt, and it has to be in the local data folder or it will not work. For keybind files, if you manually edit them while you're playing the game, you will have to reload that keybind file or it will not update the changes. I did learn that the command aliases file, that if you were to update the alias file, changing maps is enough to refresh the alias file, so you do not have to do any kind of reload there. As now I'm like, I just still question. Anyone have questions? There's so much here.
I mean, anytime we do one of these episodes, there's a lot that goes into it. So I know for me personally, I don't ask a whole lot of questions, but I will go back to the notes later and look through things.
I'll probably ask questions later.
That is a distinct possibility.
If people have questions, feel free to hunt me down
YouTube
and
comments.
Yeah. Contact me. I'll help you. Especially anyone that's willing to dive into the keybinds and edit them manually. I am definitely, willing to help you. Now, I will say, yes, I still have the STO keybind file or program. I'm still going to probably use that to help me figure out some of the commands, because it's got a lot of that stuff built in. And then I can, once I see what they did and how they implemented it, I can just take that and put it into my pre-existing keybind files. I think I'm done using it as I'm going to have you build my keybind file and move from there, because yeah, I have outgrown the program. Maybe. I mean, it's still very useful and very helpful.
Well,
it is. I still use it to find commands. They're like, oh, hey, there's a command. You can in game do a /command list. Some people were telling me it didn't work for them. I got it to work. I don't know what I did differently than they did. But Yeah. And that would just be /cmd list. And it would pull up all kinds of stuff. And these are all valid commands that can be set to a keybind if you really want to set some of these to a keybind.
Wait, what command is that?
CMD list.
Huh.
I will put, okay, I went ahead and got the chat log of it when I was doing some tinkering. I will put that into also a paste bin file, and you all can take a look at that too. I don't know how helpful it will be, but it's better than, I guess, nothing. Which I can do here in a second. Anyone watching have questions? I know that, like, again, I've thrown a lot at you all.
I don't. Not at the moment.
The gaming.
Does chat have anything? Find local datas near you.
I mean, you know.
Baby Spock says he has no questions. He understood it perfectly.
I'm impressed. Either I did a good job or Baby Spock already knew how to do all this.
Living up to his name there. Good old Spock.
Baby Spock. Doot, 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 doot.
And we have now a paste for the that was the command list output. And
wow.
Well, do you want to? I need to get going, but
blow something up.
Do you want to do something to highlight your new skill? I guess.
New skill. Sure.
Let's blow things up.
All right, I need
what
to
do you
fix
want
my
to blow
bar.
up? Do you want to do a daily? I mean, that'll go by really quick.
We can do it daily.
Let's do a daily.
Toss me leader back then, real quick. Great, please. Thank you.
Is STO, you vex me sometimes.
Well, at least STO doesn't hex you.
It does that too. You just don't know about it.
Oh. I mean, it hexes my wallet.
Guys, I gotta say, so I'm flying around in the Pioneer, right? But I'm using the 25th century skin that's based on the Exeter skin. And I really, really, really want a Miranda class with this skin now.
Wayoon. Guess I can go to an even split screen.
Going low and left.
Going high and left. Right into the thick of it.
All right, and there I activated my keybind alias thing, and you notice I did not jump anywhere. I just teleported to the spot I was at.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh?
Yeah, my whole game froze up for a couple seconds there. That's gonna hurt my DPS.
All my wild weasels and pets.
My purses.
Oh, there's still a boss ship. I thought they were both dead.
And there. We're done.
I said it was going to be quick.
I mean, it's always quick.
Oh, and I hit the wrong button.
Same here.
What button did you hit?
Oh, I hit the window when it popped up rather than the leave button.
Voice leave map, folks.
Because I was at DS9 and it popped me out over by the ESD.
Yup.
Unless you want a free transport back to Seoul.
Granted.
Keybinds are magic, and they are very useful and very helpful. They can take your game to the next level.
Oh.
Well, I didn't really say this, but in the notes, I had put it in there. They built the game around keybinds and made them important for the fact that, let's say you're playing, like we all know, STO only has their servers in one location. They don't have, like some game companies, servers all over, and you only play with people closest to you. Because you're playing with people all over the world, the lag time, latency between them and the server and you and the server will vary. And so Keybinds was their solution for PvP, and it's beneficial for PvE to be able to get everyone on the same page, essentially. Essentially you can activate a button once every 500 milliseconds. So two presses per second, and there's a queue system. So that way, if you are going up against someone that has higher latency, they can and still be able to play on par with you. That's the whole point of the short queue system and keybinds. You can only get advantage of the queue system by using keybinds. Pressing buttons on, like clicking on things on the trays, does not send it into the queue. So that is why keybinds have. So if you've been playing things, if you had things fail, like you've activated a console and it just didn't fire for whatever reason, yeah, that happens. And that's why people call it a misfire. People have asked for that to be fixed. And it's been part of the game as long as I can remember, misfires. The solution is to use keybinds instead of clicking.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Keybinds won't misfire. If they don't go, it wasn't activated.
Interesting.
I think technically there's a chance there's a misfire, but it's extremely low. Like, because of the queue system, it is extremely low that it's going to fail.
But that you still can't really bypass the one ability at a time, though, right?
No. I mean, there's a queue system, so I hit the button twice. Let's say I hit the button twice in under 500 milliseconds. That means, let's say, tray 1 or button 1, button 2 have both been triggered. Button 1 will fire when it's time, and button 2 will fire once the timer, that delay they added in there in the queue, trigger clears and says, okay, go. You still press the button twice to get both actions.
But you don't actually have to wait for the one to activate before the second one does. Like it'll do it, it'll queue it up.
Correct.
That's interesting.
But it's a very short queue, which means you can technically max out that queue, and you could be spamming your bar as fast as you want and have like two things in the queue and things trying to get into the queue that can't. So it just means that it's on hold until the queue pushes through all the stuff and things.
Interesting.
Like I said, it was their implementation for PvP and and it works for PvE as well to make everyone on the same foot.
I gotcha. Our yeah, I'm
next
gonna
week,
have to sit down and look over some stuff.
And like I said, I'm here to help people. Do we have a topic for next week, or
we're gonna do a Garrett build?
I am not going to be here next week.
Oh.
I don't think. Let me look real quick. Make sure I have the right dates.
We can also figure this out after, behind the scenes?
No, it's 2 weeks. I will be here next week. I will not be here in 2 weeks. So we're good.
Cool.
The Garrett build would be awesome for next week because, like, I actually want to put a build together on that ship.
Are we going torpedo tank? Torpedo tank?
I do not have a tank build on any of my characters, so if we can do the tank build, that would be my choice.
I would be very happy doing a tank build.
So I guess we're going to do a tank build next week on the Garrett.
Tank build!
All right.
Sounds like a plan. So you guys just heard the plan for next Thursday. Don't forget, on Monday nights, we do our fun night where we just come in and blow stuff up. And if, you guys want us to help you with something, or you just want somebody to run a mission with, hang out with, that's the day to do that. We do invite people, viewers, to come in and join us on Mondays. Sometimes we do that on Thursdays too, but that's only for certain episodes that we do. Like if we're going to do an Enter the Workshop build, then we would invite the person we're doing the build for to join us. Yeah, I don't think I forgot anything. So as always, I will see you out there.
Have fun, be safe, and don't set yourselves on fire.
Stick around. We will be raiding somebody. And, yeah. Live long and prosper. Computer, end program.